Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Kayleigh and I am a certified Christian health coach. And on this channel, we talk about wellness, healing, and faith. And today we are talking about anxiety. And we are particularly talking about anxiety in context of how do we handle it as a Christian community and what are the things that I see that I don't agree with on how we handle anxiety as a Christian community. The last 2 weeks, I've been working really hard, and I had a plan. I had a schedule, I prepared, and I know how to be flexible. So when things need to shift around, I can shift it. But I was unexpectedly offered an opportunity to teach a second workshop this month, and that meant everything to me. So I needed to set everything down and focus my attention to this workshop. And the workshop it's not that it just took physical hours of preparing, but a lot of mental work. It took a lot of mental stress. So even though I was focusing on other tasks when I wasn't working on the workshop, I was stressed. I was thinking about this workshop. And I really tried to pay attention to my anxiety levels because they were raising. And I handled it well. In each day, in each moment, I was fine. Everything was good. But by the time the workshop was done and I realized how behind on filming I got so disappointed. And it was actually really hard for me to sit down and film this video today. And when I tried to sit down the other day upstairs and film a different video, I completely flubbed it up and couldn't get it taken care of. That was anxiety. Now, I am someone who used to struggle with anxiety very severely in my past. If you have watched other videos of mine, particularly my testimony videos, you know that I was diagnosed with PTSD and a dissociation disorder and sensory sensitivity when I was 21. So basically one day I opened my eyes and the entire world was blaring at me like an alarm. It was terrible. And all of this anxiety suddenly erupted inside of me back when I got these diagnoses because this was my season of life that I finally stopped being driven by my past and trauma and turned around and looked at it. And when you turn around and you face what's been beating you down for so many years, it's very scary. And I was not a believer at this time in my life. So I faced that trauma, and the anxiety that swelled up inside of me was so severe that I would literally be walking across my campus and trying not to run. Because what every single muscle in my body wanted to do was sprint and get out of where I was because I never felt safe. I suffered very severe hypervigilance. And so when I'm talking about anxiety, I know what I'm talking about. When I came to Christ, I had been working on healing that anxiety, the depression, the dissociation for a year. And then I had a personal encounter with the Lord, and things started shifting and changing. And what I have heard others say is that when they met Christ, all of their anxiety and depression just poof, went away. This was not my experience. When I met Christ, it was like he had walked into the wilderness, into the desert where I felt forsaken and lost. He found me, took my hand, and walked me out of that place step by step. So it wasn't that everything just got better. It was that I was holding the hand of my shepherd who was guiding me out of this place. And it was an incredibly validating journey because I felt God saying to me, I see you and I see what you have suffered, and I'm here. Then one day I woke up and that anxiety was just gone because of how far away from it we had walked together. Now, fast forward, not that much, and in the summer of 2020, I had an external trigger that really rippled through me and awoke in this anxiety again. Even awoke in my dissociation disorder. Like, it was such a severe awakening of what I thought I was past that I needed to hold Christ's hand again and equip all of these tools I had learned from studying natural health, learning how to heal from trauma, learning how to heal my anxiety, and do it again. I believe that we have circumstances in life that create an anxiety response, and that's understandable and appropriate. It is not a shameful thing to experience anxiety. There is a verse in scripture, I don't know exactly where it is, but I'll put it on the screen, that says, we don't need to worry and to cast all of our anxieties or worries upon Him, upon the Lord. I have witnessed, mostly online, but there's been some discussion in my community about this type of mentality. I have witnessed Christians say that to worry is to worship Satan because Christ said cast all your anxiety on him. So if you're worrying and you're anxious, then you don't respect Christ, you don't love him, and you're worshiping Satan by giving your anxiety that power. So first of all, that's not what the scriptures say themselves, and we know that we're not supposed to be twisting and turning and changing the scriptures. Secondly, I think that this is a place where we as human beings have a knack for communicating our feelings of worthlessness and our failings. We have such a hard time believing that we are worthy of love, that we are enough, that we will make any explanation for why we're not hitting that standard of lovability. So out of icky, desperate humanness, we say, well, if I'm worrying, I'm worshiping Satan. My goodness. I don't agree with this. I really don't. I don't think it's realistic. A couple of things that I have learned along the way about anxiety is that it is something that can be a physical reaction to a physical state in the body. For example, I am quoting a holistic health Christian podcast, and I can't recall the exact episode, and I will link the podcast down below. I listened to a podcast episode with an expert in this that talked about how our neural pathways have amino acids on them, and this amino acid helps lubricate the neural transmissions, and those amino acids come from protein. So when we are deficient in protein, we're deficient in amino acids, and this can cause anxiety because our neural pathways are not lubricated. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that is so incredibly logical. Another thing that can cause anxiety is a lack of sleep. Another thing is something in the past that needs healing, surrendering it to God and healing it. And healing brings understanding. It's not about condemning yourself for feeling it. It's about seeking wisdom and understanding with God about what am I feeling, giving the feeling to Christ, not condemning yourself for feeling it. Really stressful deadlines can cause anxiety. Tests can cause anxiety. Traveling can cause anxiety. Overstimulation can cause anxiety because part of anxiety is adrenaline in the body. It's a physical response to real life things. So to simply say that anxiety is only spiritual attack doesn't take on full understanding of how the body responds to circumstances. We have a tendency to get so overtly spiritual, we ignore that God created the body and that Christ had a body and gave his body for us. We ignore that the body is not something to condemn. Sin nature, yes. Flesh mind, yes. I think that we need to take physical responsibility for our bodies and stop punishing and condemning the body for functioning in the way God has designed the body. So in this next portion of this video, I would like to offer you just some quick natural health tips for how you can start to do good to yourself in terms of anxiety. Number one is herbal teas. There are many herbal teas that are very beneficial to the body and also have caffeine. So I'm not telling you have to sacrifice caffeine. You can drink green tea and it's going to give you caffeine too. Chamomile is known for being soothing. I really enjoy St. John's wort. St. John's wort tea in particular is really beneficial for helping with anxiety and depression, or helping with the symptoms of anxiety and depression. And honestly, when I drink chamomile, I feel like I'm doing my body good, but when I drink St. John's wort, I actually feel the ease happen. So I really enjoy this tea. Another natural health tip is essential oils. Frankincense essential oil is a nervous system regulator. So if you're feeling buzzed up, if you're feeling low, whatever's going on, applying frankincense essential oil to the body can help bring some regulation to your nervous system. And this is practicing aromatherapy. Remember to dilute your essential oils whenever you put it on your skin, and I will actually link an essential oil dilution table down below. The next one is gentle movement versus hard movement. Now, sometimes we really need to push ourselves. Sometimes we need to really get sweaty and really break down some muscles and build them up. But there are other times when a walk will do a lot more holistic benefit than a hard workout. Sometimes I just walk, and I walk on my treadmill for 45 minutes, and it ends up being like mental and emotional processing, connection and conversation with God, worshiping in my spirit, worshiping out loud, going blank in the mind, and just letting the body move. I do sweat often with that, but that movement gets to shift the lymphatic system. It gets to massage the organs internally. It allows the bones to have very gentle impact. It's so healthy. So slow and gentle movement. Another one is coming to God in prayer about your anxiety, but not condemning yourself for it. Come to Him and say to Him, I have this. Let's put it on the table and talk about it. Where is this coming from? What is it doing in my life? What do I need to do? Where do I need to give something up, bring something in, make a shift? What's going on? Another one is to pay attention to how much you're eating. Are you eating enough? And what type of food are you eating? If you're going to eat foods that are going to slowly poison the body and hurt the body, then you're going to face consequences of those foods. The next one is practicing self-care. Today I felt so anxious, and so I took the time to put little space buns in my hair and put a little bit of makeup on and drink herbal tea and eat a big breakfast and just listen to music and just be present in the moment. Taking time to give yourself the care that you need to slow down is important. It's very important. We know Christ left the disciples in the crowds regularly and went off by himself. You need to do it too. It's okay. And the last thing that I'm going to say to you before signing off on this video is just a little bit of insight and advice. I used to live in the Ozarks, and I found hiking trails, and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I'm gonna explore so much. I'm gonna go everywhere. I'm gonna hike everything. And God said no. And He said to me, hike this one trail. It was the first one I found. Hike this one trail every week for a year and observe the season changes. And I did. And I learned things about not only the season around me, but the seasons within me. Don't put God in a box, and don't exclude God from your mental, emotional healing work. Don't think that God just belongs at church. Don't think that He only can be presented and represented this way. Be open, be curious, be intrigued by Him. Understand that as much as you are a unique individual, He is the ultimate unique individual, and He's interesting. He is so incredible. Seek Him out. Seek His face. Ask Him, how can you be more intimate with Him? How can you have more of a personable relationship with Him? How can you get to know Him more? And how can you, by knowing Him, get to know yourself? That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for checking out this video, for spending this time with me, and for trusting me to guide you on this adventure. I appreciate your time so much. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment below if any of these natural health habits are something you would like to pick up, or if you'd like to hear more. I can totally open this door up more. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Kayleigh, and I will see you next time.